Hi guys, welcome back to our another episode of Web3, where we bring you some stories through which you can understand the importance of blockchain and figure out why do you even come on chain. So today we have someone really special with us who have been working in this space from last 4 years, and her work has inspired a lot of people, especially women who are working in Web3. So without any further ado, let's start the episode. Hi Gulbu, how are you?
Hey Kushal, hi, thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming. So, could you please give us a little introduce about yourself, a walkthrough around your journey in Web3. How
Definitely.
did you
So,
start it?
yeah, for sure. So, this is Khushbu, and people in crypto space call me Kuen, and that's where I am known for. So, yeah, so that's how my journey started. So, that's where I had this name of Kuen, and I started off creating a content and started off doing freelancer work and started working with Near Protocol, couple of people out there around 5.5 year back and was working as a freelancer. Thereof started off building their community, creating their content, doing couple of stuff, and then started actually working with Avalanche. So I was the first one who actually was there with Avalanche from India and started off their community from scratch in India. So for last 3 years, I was working very closely with the Avalanche ecosystem, was building their community from scratch and had their own community establishment, growing their community on IRL events or on the virtual event side. Also, thereafter got an opportunity to enter into BD. So there often I explored a couple of projects and how to build around, how people actually have their brainstorming from scratch when they are building their project and what is actually required in blockchain industry. So that's what was really interesting to brainstorm with. So lately I joined in Nibiru and I'm working as a community manager and a business developer for them in India. So it has been like a couple of 1.5 months, but it has been a
Okay.
great journey. Yes, so yep.
Okay. Congratulations on your new joining, Khushbu. So,
Thank
listening to your experience, I think there is a lot of things that we can learn from you. So, starting off with how's the market treating you? Like the recent incidents, uh, Germany government selling their Bitcoin, and of course the Wazirek exploit. So, what's your narrative of the market where the things have been going to be?
So in my context, when talking about crypto market, it's always like all the ups and downs which are coming around in the market, and it's never steady. But despite all the setbacks, there's always some strong comeback that the market does. So of course, crypto market has a lot of potential out there. There are a couple of incidents, like you told, because of which people have crypto market has broken their trust. But in my personal context, I believe that the technology, the development, the scalability, security, and everything combining in total brings the blockchain industry in general on a very high scale. And I personally believe that's something that actually creates a trademark for people that yes, there is something new that's actually working and where you can actually rely on. So in my personal context, when I talk about that, or when I think on that perspective, it's really strikes my mind off that okay, there's something that's there and that's really working very well. For when talking about real estate or on the development side, it's doing tremendous job. So in my personal context,
Yeah.
yes, there are so many things happening, but yeah, there are so many positives that if some negatives are there, we can neglect them on some aspects.
Yeah, and even I agree that technology is something that will stay in the long run. Speculation, we are not here for the speculation. In fact, we here at Central DAO, we also believe in the technology, like blockchain as a technology. So yeah, I completely agree with that. So Khushbu, you mentioned that you recently joined Nibiru. So can you please tell us a little more about what is Nibiru and what you guys are doing?
So basically, Nibiru is a breakthrough L1 blockchain technology built on Cosmos and Rust. So it's built on Cosmos ecosystem. It's basically when talking about Cosmos ecosystem and Tendermint core consensus, basically it creates a very easy pathway for a blockchain to interact and communicate with other blockchains easily. So Nibiru has a very unique structure in the ecosystem side when talking about. They basically have their own Nibi perp which is a future exchange where you can like have your like leverage exposed and you can have your trades done. And they have their own coded estate where you can bring your homes on chain, rentals on chain, and all the democratizations access on the real estate side
Mhm.
on the chain itself, which actually brings a lot of use case onto the chain when talking about in real world problems. Nibiru also brings its Nibi Swap, its Nibi Oracle, and its NUSD stablecoin. So there are a couple
Oh,
of stuff that they are doing internally, which usually not other L1s do. So basically, what
yeah.
L1s do, they actually like hire a third person party to do their work, and then they are not taking the authority of that in the form of security and stability. So yeah, when talking about Nibiru, that's something that they are bringing on chain, and actually brings a lot of like easiness and ability for the developers when they are building on top of the chain. So it's really user centric and user developer centric as well.
Ah, that sounds awesome. Like if someone, a developer, a blockchain developer, want to explore Nibiru, so where they can like find the resources.
So that's a really great question. So they can, of course, visit the website. That's nibiru.fi. So that's the native website where you can like find everything, the ecosystem related stuff, documentation, use cases of Nibiru, and everything which you can like want to find for an L1. So that's the place
Yeah.
you should actually explore. Also, when talking about Nibiru Twitter, that's where you can like follow Nibiru, you can update, you can get all the updates. So it's at the rate Nibiru chain. So that's where you can get all the updates about what's happening. Also, there are a couple of initiative for the community and the developers. So I would really like appreciate you guys to give it a follow so that so that you don't miss out on anything.
Yeah, we'll also share the links in the description as well. So, Khushbu, so as you are expanding the community of Nibiru in India, so why a ecosystem, why different ecosystem in Web3 uses this term community? Why they build community? Why to even build a community? Can you please tell us why the ecosystem prefer to build a community rather than building an audience?
So when talking about so in my personal context, when talking about community and audience, just give me let's like clarify on that. Audience is something that is not indulged. Community is something that actually is a part of something. So
Yeah.
community is actually in a form of a family that actually is involving into the project, and then they stay with the project. So in my personal context, community is not a very easy term or a very easy thing to build on. Couple of and to be honest, so many projects are there that are not able to build that community, and that's why they are not able to get that attraction.
Yeah.
So I personally feel like you do good marketing, you do good promotion, your project is good, but if your community is not supporting, you cannot stand anywhere. So I think that says a lot about the community side, and if the
Exactly.
community does not support, then basically we don't have a use case, like user base. So for our user base, we need a community, and the community should be really trustworthy, and they should actually rely on top of us. So that's where I personally feel like community is really important, and they are the basic essence of a project or an ecosystem.
That's completely answers the question. So, why are you inspired towards community building and community management?
I personally feel like I, as a person, I did not give a brief about my previous crypto, like before that, a background. I was a teacher before. So from that, I actually, yeah, so I actually have been like into like learning and then educating students of in the school. So I personally feel like that actually encouraged me from the side of the community because I really feel that that thing has come into me where I keep on learning more, and then, as I told you, that I like to create content. So it actually gives me a lot of leverage there so that I can create content, talk to the people, make them believe that what we are building is actually good for them. And then they can actually rely on us and use that. So, in my personal context, that relationship is really important when talking about any of the community and the community manager. So that actually breaks the gap between the two of them when that connection is there, when you are actually able to talk to the people very easily and smoothly, and when they actually have that trust factor in between us. So that's where I personally feel like that actually gives you a lot of advantage.
Yeah. So, like, how do you see the role of community building, like evolving in next coming 5 years? What are the top five community you think that will stay in coming 5 years? Of course, there will be a lot of changes in terms of government regulations and in terms of adaptation. So, how do you see that change?
So when talking about the community stuff, it actually has a lot of like exposure to go around and expansion. So in my personal context, I believe that DAO system and the voting system would be enhanced because that's something that actually gives the community a power or leverage to make their own decisions. Uh,
Yeah,
I personally feel like that there can be an innovation around crowdsource funding where the community can actually be a part by the financial grounds as well in talking about IRL events, talking about anything in general. And they can have a collaborative road shows, they can have global or local meetups, they can have basically P2P learning. Because I personally feel like right now there are two type of people. One is the content creator and one is the learner. But I personally feel like when the gap is like it's like it's a like blurry thing, then it actually creates that magic where people are like learning and then accepting people's thoughts. Then I personally feel like that would be a really amazing thing. Also, in my personal context, I think like maybe in future social media can also be decentralized, and it
yeah,
would actually give us a lot of advantage because I really feel like a couple of big names out there in the industry are all centralized. So maybe they can be decentralized and nobody has the authority and nobody has that control over us. Like we believe that
exactly.
we have a phone, but yeah, everything on this phone is like public. So maybe that decentralization power would bring a lot of like exposure. And also, I personally feel like no blockchain or no project can be centralized or center like blockchain centric. I personally feel like being multi-chain or having that expansion cross-project in like incentivization or integration is something that I really feel that would be expanding more in future. So that's where the community side comes in. Talking about the blockchains or the OGs that will stay. So of course, the two of them are Ethereum and Bitcoin. They
Yeah,
will be staying and they are the top OGs out there. And when talking
of
about the
course.
altcoins, so in my context, 5 years are too long to speak that. So
Hmm.
I personally feel like there will be so many new blockchains coming in, so many new blockchains that will be like having their own plus and minuses. So not sure about that, but yeah, the OGs will be the OGs. That's ETH and BTC. So yeah,
Of course, of course. So, ETH Maxi, are you ETH Maxi or Bitcoin Maxi?
that's a nice question. I'm Nibiru Maxi.
Oh, nice, nice, nice answer. So, like you mentioned, social file, like decentralized social media. So there is a misconception amongst the social media users right now that they own their Instagram account or they own their LinkedIn account. They don't know. Matter of fact is your account can get banned, can get locked any moment, and you don't have any authority with it. And you, in fact, I have a lot of content creation friends whose YouTube account has been banned without any warning or something. So this where web3s come in and shows their power, like of decentralization. So are you using any social fi decentralized social media like Webcast
Uh,
or anything else?
Yeah, I am using a couple of them, and I personally feel like you said, that the centralized like social medias are something that are not in our control. So it actually happened with me as well. So I actually had a Twitter account, a separate one, and that got banned. And I tried like requesting, and there was no response. Totally no response. So that's where basically I was talking about decentralization, that when it comes in, then we'll basically have that authority to control our accounts or control our stuff ourselves.
So, last two questions to you. If someone is getting into Web3, in of course, a non-tech person who looks community building as a door to get into Web3 or to start their career in Web3. So, what do you advise to someone who is starting their career, let's say in community building?
Definitely. So in crypto, it's a very, very lame slang, which is said DYOR, do your own research. So
Hmm.
that's the basic and the foremost thing that you should start off with. Understand blockchain basics. Understand what's actually there with your own mindset and with your own research. When people say, listen to them, but do your own research because that's where
Yeah.
the basic your your basic bricks would actually form of the building. So that's really important. Also, a couple of things where you can like enhance yourself is that you can stay updated with what's happening because crypto space is actually really, really quick. Every second things are changing and you will
Yeah.
realize and then you'll be like, oh shit, I was so late. So please be assured that you are updated, learn from others because the crypto space in India, if I am talking in general, I keep on meeting people and as soon as I keep on meeting people, I learn so many new things from them every time. So join IRL events, join virtual events, listen to podcasts, listen to AMAs, be a volunteer in a particular project if you are some like if there is a XYZ project which you feel like that has a good potential, start volunteering. Don't feel like from day one you have to have that earning perspective. Rather be open and then take initiative of talking to the community because in
Of
Web3
course.
the biggest advantage is people are really friendly. So go
Yeah.
ahead with that. Go ahead talking to the people and volunteer. Maybe you will get an opportunity thereafter where you'll be having that leverage of working very closely to the team, or maybe you'll be a part of the team. So be a freelancer project, be any of the project, go ahead with that, be familiar with the platform, and first and the foremost thing that's basically do your own research. And the second most foremost thing is be active on social media because that's where you will have your own identity. So,
Hmm.
in my personal context, people see your CV in Web3, in my personal experience as well. They see your CV, they are like super impressed if you have worked with XYZ project. But if you will be active on social media, that gives you a really, really bigger advantage because that's your
Ah.
identity and they'll get to know how you work. So social media, content creation, please don't be like feel shy of do something because the day you will start doing something, that is the day when you will start like experiencing a lot of confidence in yourself and you'll be having that mindset that okay, I have to create content, so I have to like read or go through these XYZ documentations. So that would also increase your knowledge simultaneously. So it's a two-way process basically.
Exactly, exactly. That's a really insightful answer. And in fact, as a non-tech person in Web3, so like developers have a straightforward answer that my skills are this, I know Solidity, I know Rust, they can improve their skills. But as a non-tech, you don't have anything as of hard skills you can show in your resume. So personal brand is something that you should work on. You should learn how to create personal brand, how to create good content. You will get to know, study some projects, write a Twitter thread on it, tag them, tag their employee or someone who is leading in India, tag them. They will, it will of course amplify your tweet and you will get to learn more. And I would love to share my personal experience when you started the answer with DYOR. So back in 2020, when Dogecoin was at hype, okay, so Elon Musk was someone who was creating that hype because there was a show. It's called Saturday Night. It's a show, a live television show in US. So Elon Musk was supposed to go there and speak something, and everyone in the community was like that the Dogecoin will go to $1. At that time, it was around 53 and 50 or 53 के आसपास था. So at that moment, he went to the show and he said something like, "It's all a meme coin, it's all speculation and all," and his price dropped like 50 to 60% it dropped. So from there, I learned that in fact, whether it is Elon Musk himself comes and say you that do this, do this, do this, of course, listen to him, but do your own research. After that, I started doing my own research after that loss.
That's actually really important.
Yeah, that's really important. So one last question. This is a question which we ask to everyone who joins our this series and who comes to our series. So let's say you are in a family function or you are talking to your best friend's parents and they ask you this question: why have you chosen Web3 as a career option? Like in short, why Web3? So why do you believe in Web3?
That's a really good question. So, when talking about somebody from my family, I assume that they don't have any clue of Web3. So, firstly, I'll be like starting off with telling them that why the technology is important. That's the primary and the first thing. And the second thing to be going around is basically we have that decentralization power. Basically, we have that empowerment of owning our own data. We have that transparency and trust. That's really important for a technology to bloom. The financial insurance that, okay, I am here and then I have to reach there so I can have a very low barrier of entry where I can invest $1 or I can like start off with something and then I can have that privilege to be a part of the team or be a part of the ecosystem or the technology just by investing that 80 rupees. So that actually gives me a lot of strength to go around. But when talking about that's basically a side of the Web3. But there are so many things more, but I'll not cover that. Basically, when talking about like decentralized governance or like economic opportunities that we have or sustainable model that the Web3 ecosystem actually flourishes. So there are so many things. But when talking about myself in general, as I told you that I have been there in the teaching background for like 5 years. So it has been so long in that journey that I was like, okay, I need a break. And then when I started learning about Web3, it actually gave me as a person a lot of like curiosity in general. Okay, this is this, but why this is this? And then I started digging more. And Web3 actually has that addiction that when you deep dive in, you are not able to leave
Yeah,
that part. So that's where it is. And the first and the foremost advantage of working in Web3 is that you have that privilege of working from anywhere. That
of
is
course.
actually something really recommend, like it's tremendable because I know so many friends of mine, those who actually like wake up 7 o'clock in the morning, they go 9 o'clock to the office, and then they come at 7 o'clock and they're like, now I have to make the dinner. I'm so super tired, and I'm like, okay, and my boss is living here like in whatever country and I'm living in whatever country, and Web3 is so amazing that it connects everybody all over the world, and it actually
Yeah,
gives you that platform where you don't match anything, neither your time zone nor your language, nothing. But only one thing what is common is the technology, where everybody like inclines on and they are working so amazingly. So that's where I personally, in my context, that makes me feel like, yeah, I need to only work in Web3 and I cannot like go back working in any other like industry in general. So that's basically my thing. But when talking about why Web3, Web3 has this own amazing technological advantages that it offers, where I personally feel like that's the future. And of course, the
yeah,
technology is blooming and it will be blooming and growing every day.
yeah. So that's a really great answer, Vishbu. So thanks a lot. I am out of questions right now, but yeah, we'll connect soon if we have some other questions to you. And we learned a lot from your experience. So thanks a lot. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much, Kushal. Thank you for having me.